Let's continue, students. I should like to feature in this connection my friend, the polite conductor. By this discriminating title, I do not intend to suggest a rebuke to conductors generally. On the contrary, I am disposed to think that there are a few classes of men who come through the ordeal of a very trying call better than um, bus conductors do. Here and there, you will meet an unpleasant specimen who regards the passengers as his natural enemies, as creatures whose chief purpose on the bus is to cheat him, and who can only be kept reasonably honest by a loud voice and an aggressive manner. But this type is rare, rarer than it used to be. I fancy the public owes much to the underground railway company, which also runs the buses, but insisting on a certain standard civility in its servants and taking care that the standard is observed. In doing this, it not only makes things pleasant for the traveling public, but performs an important social service. So here we see um, him talking about a good example. He features whom he calls my friend, the polite conductor. He calls him the polite conductor. He doesn't give the name, but he gives the example of a anonymous conductor who is very polite, and he sets him as an example for us to follow. So he right away says that, by this title, I don't suggest that, usually conductors are not polite because they have a trying job. It is very difficult job to do as bus conductors, standing in the bus all day and meeting all sorts of people, dealing with all sorts of people. He acknowledges that it's a difficult call, but most of them are really good. And there are some rare some conductors who do not do well. Okay, they are very ill mannered. They become that way, and because of the difficult job, and they consider the passengers as their natural enemy, right? Uh, you all know those. If we have traveled on the bus, it's the same situation in India. Because of the people that they deal with, you can see that kind of an behavior with conductors who consider people as their natural enemy, right? Passengers as their natural enemy. So he says that, most of them are really well behaved, really polite, and he thanks the underground railway company, which was handling the buses also, the bus staff of the bus, like bus conductors and drivers also, and teaching them how to be polite and have good manners in dealing with passengers. So, uh, so basically, for insisting they maintain a particular standard, and he thanks them, and he says that they perform an important social service. So let us look at how he sets up this one conductor as a good example. After saying something good about all conductors, let us see what is special about this one conductor that he saw, that he observed. And now he will recount a small incident that happened in his life. So it is not therefore with any feeling of unfriendliness to conductors as a class that I pay tribute to a particular member of that class. I first became conscious of his existence one day when I jumped onto a bus and found that I had left home without any money in my pocket. Everyone has had the experience and knows the feeling, the mixed feeling which the discovery arouses. You are annoyed because you look like a fool at the best and like a knave at the worst. You would not be at all surprised if the conductor eyed you coldly, as much to say, "Yes, I know the stale road trick. Now then, get off. Now then, off you get." And even if the conductor is a good fellow and lets you down easily, you're faced with the necessity of going back and the inconvenience, perhaps, of missing your train or your engagement. Basically, he recounts an experience where he got onto the bus and then realized there was no change with him. He didn't doesn't have even a penny with him, and for the ticket. And this is a very embarrassing situation that most people go through. And uh, he describes the all the ins and outs of such a difficult situation where you might be seen as someone, you might end up looking like a you know looking like you are playing tricks on people, or like a knave. Okay, a knave is like a conniving, cunning sort of person, right? And uh, or like a fool. Either you will be considered like, oh, without money, just this guy just got into the bus, or like he's trying to play a game to you know get out of the paying for a ticket like everyone else, right? Um, Buying a ticket like everyone else. So this is what he says, and let's see what happens to him. Having searched Having searched my pockets in vain for stray coppers, and having found I was utterly penniless, I told the conductor with as honest a face as I could assume that I couldn't pay the fare and must go back for money. Oh, you? That's all right, said he. All right, said I, but I haven't a copper on me. Oh, I'll book you through, he replied. Where do you want to go? And he handled his bundle of tickets with the air of a man who was prepared to give me a ticket for anywhere from the Bank of Hong Kong, from the bank to Hong Kong. So basically, he doesn't have a copper on him, means even a small copper coin that used to be used. Doesn't have any money, but um, this particular conductor, acts in the most gentleman sort of way. Um, he acts so polite with good manners. He's like, "Oh, I totally understand. Here's your ticket. You don't have to pay. It's on me, right?" So basically, he lets him go easy, and he gives him a ticket as if he was ready to give a ticket, as if he was ready to give it to even to Hong Kong. So this is like an exaggeration, of course, but this is what he sees that in the behavior of this conductor. That is what he's praising now. I said it was very kind of him and told him where I wanted to go. And as he gave me the ticket, I said, "But where shall I send the fare?" "Oh, you'll see me somewhere someday, all right," he said cheerfully as he turned to go. And then, luckily, my fingers still wandering in the corners of my pockets lighted on a shilling, and the account was squared. But that fact did not lessen the glow of pleasure which so good natured an action had given me. So our author, A.G. Gardner, was completely floored by this with this goodwill action. Okay, this good nature. How how good this conductor was. How cordial he was. He did not. He was not rude to him. He did not judge him, but he just let him take a free ticket. But in time, he did find a coin, so he paid the fare. But the thing is, his day was that made his day actually. He was very happy to see that there are still such good people in the world, right? So let us continue on what he says about the conductor. A few days after, my most sensitive toe was trampled on rather heavily as I sat reading on the top of a bus. I looked up with some anger and more agony and saw my friend of the cheerful countenance. "Sorry, sir," he said. So he meets this conductor again, and because the conductor steps on his feet, "Sorry, sir," he said. "I know these are heavy boots. heavy boots got him because my own feet got trodden so much, and now I'm treading on other people's. Hope I didn't hurt you, sir. He had hurt me, but he was so nice about it that I assured him he hadn't. So basically, he did hurt him, but because it's the same nice person and he was so nice about it, again, the same sort of polite and decent behavior, and that, and the author just lies and says that, oh, no, no, you didn't hurt me. Okay. So, he had hurt me, but I assured him he hadn't. After this, I began to observe him whenever I boarded his bus and found a curious pleasure in the constant good nature of his bearing. So this passenger, our author, started observing this one conductor and how he conducted himself and interacted with himself with other people. And look at his observations here. He seemed to have an inexhaustible fund of patience and a gift for making his passengers comfortable. I noticed that if it was raining, he would run to the stairs to give someone the tip that there was a room inside. With old people, he was considered as a son, and with children, as solicitous as a father. He had evidently a peculiar warm place in his heart for young people, and and always indulgent, a merry jest with them. So he was joking around with people, helping out old people, and all sorts of people. He was being nice on every side he turned. Every type of person he had, yeah, that used to be just passengers, he completely was nice to them. Okay, with a cheerful sort of countenance. Mm, If he had a blind man on board, it wasn't enough to set him down safely on the pavement. He would call to Bill in front to wait while he took him across the road or around the corner, or otherwise safely on his way. In short, I found that the irra- irradiated he irradiated such that he radiated such an atmosphere of good temper and kindliness that a journey with him was a lesson in a natural courtesy and good manners. Okay, so this is supposed to be that he radiated. It's a mistake here. It's not irradiated, but that he radiated. This is not the, but he. Okay, so there is an error here. It's okay, but so this was this one person with so much positivity, so much positive energy around him, and whoever he met, he spread wherever he went, he spread um, good vibes and good behavior.